Hi everyone, and welcome back to Wonderful World. My name is James, and with me today is not a reptile, but my ZZ plant. And the reason for that is because today's video is going to be all about the pros and cons of using fake plants versus live plants in your reptile and amphibian enclosures. Now, I'm not going to go into what are the best plants to use for your enclosures or how to care for and take care of live plants. Those will have to be topics for another video in the future. However, I suppose when you look at the pros and cons of live plants versus fake plants, you're also thinking about the pros and cons of a bioactive enclosure or a sterile enclosure. But this video is not just about bioactivity, it's about plants. I love plants, and I've been keeping house plants and flower gardens outside since I was a kid. So taking care of plants inside of a reptile's enclosure came pretty naturally to me when I started keeping reptiles. But I think some people might have a little bit of reluctance when it comes to live plants, because maybe they've not had the best experience with live plants in the past. Maybe they've planted a garden outside that didn't quite work out, or they've had house plants that didn't do well. And if that is you, my advice would be just to keep trying, keep doing research on how to care for plants, and just learn from your successes and failures. So I very much prefer to use live plants over fake plants, and I think there are a number of reasons why live plants are more beneficial to your reptiles and amphibians. But there are situations where fake plants can save the day and have some pros. First of all, some animals will just kill live plants by either burrowing in their roots or just trampling them. I've found that with most snakes, it's just more difficult to keep plants. The high temperatures and lower humidity that most snake species need make it hard for plants to thrive. And many snake species like to burrow and just dig plants up. And some snakes, like my ball python, are heavy and just trample the plants. So most of my snakes don't have plants, even though I keep their substrate bioactive. The only snake I have right now with plants is my ball python, and he's really hard on them. I end up replacing his plants every so often after he smashes them. So fake plants are a good solution there. And another pro to fake plants is they don't die, and they can be taken out and cleaned and disinfected. Now, even though I have a bias towards live plants, there's nothing wrong with using fake plants if that's what you like. And I'll give you a tip where to buy fake plants. My wife and I were recently in a home decor store called At Home. And if you have the at-home stores where you live, I was really impressed with how many fake plants they had and how realistic some of them looked. Live plants have their successes and failures because you have to keep them alive. Every now and then, a live plant might not thrive for whatever reasons and might have to be pulled out or replaced with another plant. Or it might grow really well and need constant trimming and clipping. But one reason I like live plants is because they're always constantly growing and changing, and so the overall look of your vivarium is always changing and evolving. Whether fake or alive, plants are one of the best ways to provide environmental enrichment for your reptiles and amphibians. And of course, how much a reptile or amphibian interacts with the plants in its enclosure can depend on the type and species you're caring for. And since there are so many different types of plants, you can do some research on what types of plants grow in that species' native environment and put some thought into what types of plants might be the most beneficial for that particular species. For some animals, like dart frogs and tree frogs, certain plants, like bromeliads, will collect water inside of them and become a place for them to not only hide, but hydrate themselves as well. I'm sure that they can tell the difference between the live and fake plants. For some species like dart frogs and tree frogs, I would say that live plants become a little bit more of a must-have just because of the high humidity needs for those species. Plus, the live plants using the nutrients from the waste and debris being broken down by the bioactivity put oxygen into the air and keep the air fresher and help to maintain the humidity. That's why a well-maintained bioactive vivarium has a fresh smell, just like the forest floor after a rain shower. As far as price and cost goes, live plants can get expensive, especially if you're buying several of them at the same time. But fake plants, especially the more realistic looking ones, can also be pretty expensive. Most likely, wherever you live, there's going to be hardware stores and nurseries that sell house plants. And if you Google house plants or terrarium plants, there are lots of places online to buy plants. I've even bought live plants on Etsy. A fake plant won't die, but with many live plants, you can grow new ones from cuttings and have new plants for free. Of course, with live plants, there's going to be more cost involved with the overall setup of the vivarium because now you have the cost for the materials for a drainage layer and a proper bioactive substrate, as well as some additional full spectrum lighting to keep the plants alive. I think some people might shy away from live plants because they feel that there would be a lot of maintenance involved. Now, when it comes to maintenance, fake plants can be removed from a tank to clean and disinfect, but if your tank is not bioactive, then you have to take out all of the decor and hides and plants to clean and disinfect them, take out all of the old substrate and replace it with fresh, clean substrate, and then completely clean and disinfect the inside of the tank. And completely taking apart a tank to disinfect everything and putting it back together again can take quite a bit of time and work. And with a live planted tank, your cleanup crew and the bioactivity with all the other living organisms in the substrate are going to do a lot to help keep it clean. Although if there is still regular spot cleaning to do, whether using fake or live plants, you're still going to be misting the enclosure regularly anyway to take care of the animals. But with live plants, there's a little bit more involved with occasionally draining out the drainage layer, keeping plants trimmed back, and maybe occasionally wiping off water deposits off of the broader leaved plants. I would say that the biggest and most obvious pro to using live plants over fake plants is, even compared to the best, more expensive fake plants, live plants are going to just look better in your vivarium. Designing how the plants will go into the vivarium along with other natural decor and creating a beautiful natural look is really an art, and that's definitely one thing I love about building the vivariums. There is a lot about plants that I can't cover in just one video, so if you have any questions about plants, feel free to leave me a comment below. And if there are any more detailed videos you would like to see about vivarium plants, definitely let me know that too. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and I hope you found it useful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.